Hello and welcome to Diabetech. I'm Justin, and on this channel I talk all things diabetes tech, news, management, and beyond. I did something really cool earlier this week. I went to Insulet headquarters in Acton, Massachusetts. This is where they produce the tubeless Omnipod insulin pump, which is what I use. Insulet paid for my travel, but all the content and opinions you see are my own. It was an incredible experience. I got exclusive access. I went into their factory and saw how the pump was made. I went to their research and development headquarters, and I met the whole team. I even met someone who's been working there since the beginning, since the first pump, and even before the first pump, the one that they used to get FDA clearance. I'll be showing off all that information and some behind the scenes looks on this channel, so stay tuned for that by subscribing. Now, for today's episode, I'm showing you an interview with Eric Benjamin. He is the Chief Product and Customer Experience Officer at Insulet. We're gonna be talking all things Omnipod GO, which is a newly announced insulin pump for those with type 2 diabetes. Now, this is for people who are on long-acting insulin. It gives basal insulin throughout the day. And this is just the first of two parts of this interview. My other interview is a bit longer, and it's all about the future of Omnipod and Omnipod 5. You'll be able to find that on the Diabetech podcast, which is released every Monday, both on YouTube and all major podcast platforms. Now, without further ado, enjoy the interview. As of this interview, this was announced, I think 2 weeks ago, and I was like, can I please talk about it? So I know you may not probably be able to say everything about it, or maybe you will, and I'm gonna be pleasantly surprised because no one told me that, I'm just assuming. So pretend I didn't say that and just tell me everything. I'll stop talking.
I can tell you a fair amount, don't
okay,
worry.
amazing, I'm excited. So first of all, what is Omnipod GO?
Yeah, Omnipod GO is the latest addition to the Omnipod family of products to improve the lives of people with diabetes. It is a product that is intended to deliver 72 hours of rapid-acting insulin in the same convenient, waterproof, fully wearable form factor for people who just need basal insulin. And when we studied what are the challenges that people who live with type 2 diabetes face, one of the things we found is that the transition to insulin is really difficult. There's a whole bunch of reasons for this, but a lot of it is just taking a daily injection, and the burden associated with that is high. And a lot of people, as a result of that, start on insulin too late, and their lives are worse because of it. So Omnipod GO is the simplest possible Omnipod product we could make, intended to provide basal insulin, 3 days of basal insulin. And it is a really simple product to make that happen.
And so this is for people who have type 2 diabetes. Is it for anyone beyond type 2 diabetes?
No, it is. Omnipod GO is intended for people with type 2 diabetes who are just starting on insulin or who are taking a daily injection of basal insulin.
Okay, now tell me about the shape of it. From the picture, it looked pretty similar. There was a green light or something. So tell me a little bit about the size. How does it compare to Omnipod 5?
Yeah, so it is the same mechanical form factor, the same mechanical platform as Omnipod 5 with some different electronics and different user experience built into it. Again, we designed for absolute simplicity. So this is, the idea is you get a prescription from your doctor with a target basal dose in it. That box shows up, user takes the pod out, fills the pod, puts it on, and they go. That's it. So Omnipod GO has no controller. It's 3 days of nonstop basal insulin that assures that users get exactly what was prescribed by their doctor.
Okay, now why would someone who's on MDI want to wear a pump? For what they can give themselves one shot a day. Why would someone opt for the pod?
Yeah, what we found in research, Justin, is two things. So a lot of these are folks who have not yet started taking a daily injection. So when we went and met folks who are sort of at the stage of type 2 diabetes that they really need insulin, their lives are being harmed because they are not getting daily insulin. But they also just can't bring themselves to take a daily shot for whatever reason. Needle phobia, some folks don't like the fact that it doesn't turn off. There's all kinds of reasons that people don't like taking a shot of basal insulin. Whatever it is, what we found is actually the pod was a terrific solution. If somebody could be assured that they would get 3 days of exactly the dose that they needed, there were a lot of folks who were really excited about that.
Okay, now Can you tell me a little bit about the basal options? I believe there are 7 different settings.
Yeah, you're well informed. So that's exactly right. There are 7 basal doses. So again, the way basal insulin is prescribed is just a total daily basal insulin requirement. So we make Omnipod GO available in 7 configurations, from 10 units a day to 40 units a day. So again, users get a script for whatever their dose requirement is. It comes, the pod is pre-programmed to work exactly the way it's supposed to. Take the pod out, fill it, and go. That's Omnipod GO.
Now, will Omnipod GO work with CGMs? Is there any type of closed loop?
Omnipod GO is intended to be the simplest possible product, so it is not a closed loop product. You may know that actually we published data on Omnipod 5 in folks who live with type 2 diabetes last year. That data was incredible. We saw time in range improvements of more than 20 points in folks who live with type 2 diabetes using Omnipod 5. It was astonishing, and the quality of life feedback was amazing. So we actually just began enrolling our pivotal study for folks who live with type 2 diabetes, so we can get a claim to promote Omnipod 5 for folks who live with type 2 diabetes, because it's going to change a lot of lives.
Okay, and so will the pump in any way, so what you're saying, because it's not closed loop, it won't necessarily alter, if let's say you're going to work out, you can't really change that basal. You're kind of set into it. Are people advised, if they're going low, to take it off to prevent there being basal? Because I know a lot of people, including myself at early diagnosis, when you take that basal insulin, you're stuck with it. So if you go run on that basal and you don't kind of take that into account, you can go low. Do people just take it off if they're going low, or in a scary situation, I guess?
Yeah, so terrific question. Again, folks who live with type 2 diabetes experience that a little differently.
Yeah.
Going low is much rarer for folks who live with type 2 diabetes. But what you described is one of the benefits that we don't know that that's going to happen, but it's certainly one of the things that we thought about in design. We thought, hey, look, one of the advantages is if somebody feels like they're having a problem, they just take the pod off, and the rapid-acting insulin is done.
Now, one thing that really stood out to me in the press release was that this pump wouldn't require a handheld device. Now, how does that work? And I assume you'll need something to activate it. But how are you activating it? And then,
Terrific question. So again,
living your day.
Designed for absolute simplicity. So you take the pod out of the box, open the pod, fill it with the designated amount of insulin, and it begins a 3-minute counter that is a flashing amber light. Really easy to understand. You've got 3 minutes to get it on your body. Once it's on your body, it auto-deploys and begins delivering basal. There is no controller. There is no independent activation.
Okay, so when can people expect to have this available in their, let's start with the US and then outside?
Yeah, Justin, we're commercializing Omnipod GO in 2024. We'll be doing some small pilots in the US in 2023, but it'll be commercially available in the US in 2024. And we haven't yet talked about when we'll bring it to global markets, but we certainly know there's folks who live with type 2 diabetes everywhere in the world who would benefit from Omnipod GO.
Great, awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm sure many people who are watching this will too. I appreciate you taking a little bonus interview with me on the Omnipod GO, and I can't wait to see what happens with it. Now, it's only a matter of time to see if people with type 2 diabetes would rather wear an insulin pump than just taking a single shot every day. Maybe this is for someone who knows that eventually they'll need to get on a pump and they can just start with one right away. I'm curious to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments if you're someone who has type 2 diabetes, or if you're a caregiver, would you recommend this to someone with type 2 over an injection every day? Don't forget, there is a second part to this interview. It's much longer and it's about the future of the Omnipod pump and some things about Omnipod 5. I even get into the iPhone app. So make sure you subscribe to the Diabetic podcast. That releases on both YouTube and major podcast platforms. And for all things diabetes tech, make sure you keep it here by subscribing to the channel. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And I've got so much more Omnipod stuff coming from this visit. You don't want to miss it. That will be on social as well. As always, I'm Justin, and I'll tech you later.